Hi everyone, it's Peggy here and welcome to this week's video. Excited to share with you this week's project. It's a silver maple bowl, and then this blank that you're seeing on the screen is 10 by 10 by 4. So here I'm marking the center and the edges, and I'll take it over to the bandsaw to make it almost round. And after I take off the edges on the bandsaw, I am using a drill to drill a hole for the woodworm screw, which is what I'll attach it to the 4-jaw chuck on the lathe. And here I am doing just that, putting it on the woodworm screw. Tightening it up, making sure it's secure. I've pulled up the tailstock, and now just getting it up to speed, trying to get it as fast as possible without any vibration. I think I got it up to about 900. So taking some passes with the bowl gouge, going slow, just trying to make it completely round. And no, I'm not getting electrically shocked here. I'm trying out some new video editing software. So just trying out some cool effects. Let me know if you like them. Here I'm making the recess. Instead of having a foot this time, I am making a recess. I'm just going to try to have it be an unassuming bowl. Not a lot of details except for what I'm going to do on the top. So the foot or the bottom will be pretty benign. And here I'm just trying to round over the bottom and get the shape that I want. Just checking to see that it's still tight on the woodworm screw, which it is. Moving the tool rest around and continuing to shape. Doing a little bit of shear scraping here, and the shavings are covering my arm, as you could see a second ago. And continuing with some shear scraping to try to finalize the shape of the bowl on the bottom and the sides anyway. And continuing with the shear scraping here. And adjusting the tool rest, and some more scraping, shear scraping. Really trying to get the bowl and the round over exactly how I want it, and sometimes it takes, as you probably know, a little bit of time and patience. and some push cuts to finalize the shape of the bowl before I start with the sanding process. And I sanded from 80 grit to 600 grit. Actually, I went higher than that, but you'll see that later. And some denatured alcohol to clean the surface before I use some sanding sealer. And using some myelin cellulose sanding sealer here, putting on the sanding sealer. I will let that soak in, and then I will sand some more and then use some sanding sealer again. Now sanding with 600 after the sealer has soaked in. Probably gave it about 20 minutes to dry and come back in with the 600. Now more sanding sealer. Spent a lot of time sanding on this one, which is sometimes very necessary. And on this one it certainly was. .800 grit sandpaper here. 1200 grit sandpaper here. Really trying to get a smooth surface. Went up through some very high grits, as you'll see. Using the Axe polish restoring paste. If you haven't tried Axe, you really should. If you're a turner or any type of woodworker, there's a link in my video description. Very reasonably priced. Taking it off the woodworm screw here, and taking the woodworm screw out and placing it back on the 4-jaw chuck in the recess. Getting it up to speed here and truing it up on the face of it. Starting the hollowing process here with the bowl gouge, and I'll continue on with the bowl gouge until it's hollowed out and I can start with the embellishment on the rim. And using the diamond parting tool to make a recess or insert to put the crayons. Mixing up the resin to put over the melted crayons around the rim. It's worth mentioning that this is the first time I've tried this process before, and I'll probably try it again. It is an interesting process. Something as simple as crayons can create a pretty neat effect, I think. Here I'm using an Easywood Tools carbide negative rake tool to flatten the rim, take just a little bit of the resin off, and you can see in the bottom of the bowl that some of the resin had dripped in there, which was fine in the end. It's just a little bit messy. And here I'm finalizing the shape of the inside of the bowl, trying to get a curve that I'm happy with in the bottom. Starting with 80 grit sandpaper for the inside. Did a combination of sanded by hand, did some power sanding here in a minute, and then some micro mesh pads. Using the micro mesh pads here to get a nice finish. Used all of the grits in the micro mesh, and it made it really shiny. I was happy with the finish. I'll have some stills up at the end as always, but I wanted to take a minute too to say thank you everyone so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do. It's free and there's a new video every week. And I hope you'll join us and hit the subscribe, like, share, comment. And there we have it. That's the finished product. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you next week. Peace out.